Hello there, everybody. Today, I decided to make a little video about my most recent project, which is, of course, the MagFed Spring Thunder Shell magazine and blaster. I'll go over the blaster in a moment. However, I want to start with the magazine. As you probably saw, I have a working prototype of the magazine. As you can see, it is a magazine, holds 10 shells, uses 4 foam blast drum springs, 2 on the front and 2 on the back to move the follower, which is down here. The follower is angled, so when the shell is at the very top, it is not actually straight. It is more... I could show you it on that, but I'll just do this. It's more in like... it's more like that when it reaches the top, which is good. But, so this is the magazine, right? It has a catch notch in the front and in the back. My design only uses the one in the back, but I decided to make one in the front too, in case people want to make like a rock and lock magazine where they have a stationary peg here that you hook into the front of the magwell and then rock it back to lock into the back notch, or you can have it lock into the front notch instead of the back one, like completely ignoring the back one. It can be a straight insert magazine, it can be a rock and lock. I made it as compatible with as many designs as I could think of right off the bat. So, this magazine still works great. So, after I finished this to a point where it was functional enough, where the loading is still crunchy, but the unloading, the using of the magazine, the firing, is nice and clean and smooth. So, magazine's pretty good. I decided to start work on the blaster that uses the magazine. It does not have a name yet, but here is the MagFed Spring Thunder Shell Blaster prototype. It is... let me open up some CAD, or some images. Here we go. It is shorter than a Spring Thunder. This is a calibrated photo, so these measurements right here are accurate. It is shorter than a Spring Thunder by like 4 or 5 inches, which is pretty good. It is less vertically tall in the front end than a Spring Thunder, by like an inch. So from the bottom of the foregrip to like the top of the Picatinny rail, it's an inch shorter. The length of pull from the stock to the grip is approximately the same. It's hard to tell because like the angle of the grip is different. The Spring Thunder is more of a vertical grip. On this blaster, it's more of an angled grip. This is from the Silly Pistol, this grip. You may notice that it has a Raider stock on it. Well, not an actual Raider stock, a fake Raider stock. I did that just because I wanted to make something that would fit in well aesthetically, but also I knew that the Raider stock was the correct size, so I made an end strike lug for the blaster, as you can see right here, and I made a stock that fits the contours of the rest of the blaster and just brings them back into a nice large butt plate with some nice texturing on the back of it and a takedown pin to keep it in there real good. If you don't like this stock, you can use normal end strike stock, or you can use a buffer tube stock, as you can see there, or you can use no stock, just an end cap. This blaster has easy spring removal. You just take out this pin here and this pin here, and then the entire back of the blaster will pop off. Oh god, there's two. I said the entire back end of the blaster will pop off. When you pop this open, the what's that called? The catch will slide out with it, and then you'll be able to access the spring. As you can see here is the spring. So this blaster looks very oddly set up compared to most other designs. You can think of it as an Indra from Captain Slug, but using a Lynx catch and plunger. And instead of being bolt action, it's pump action. So I've done this before, actually. I made a pump action Indra, where it's just priming bars and a pump handle smacked onto the front of the bolt action bit of an Indra. So I know that this concept works, so I decided to reuse it here. So the bolt face of the blaster, right here, this white piece, is glued into the plunger tube right here. When you prime it back with this priming handle here, with these printed priming bars, it'll bring that all back. It'll catch right there. Bring this all forwards. It'll strip a round off the magazine, slide it up this ramp into the chamber, and then the bolt will seal up the back. And then you pull the trigger, it will lift up the catch, and you can fire it. It's pretty good. The trigger is shaped this oddly, so you can still deprime it while the blaster is still being quite short, as you can see there. I might eventually extend the back half of the blaster like a ½ inch to make this trigger thicker, but I haven't done that because I didn't want to redesign stuff. I wanted to get prints going. Speaking of prints, I'm currently printing this stuff, which is very exciting. There are a lot of design aspects on this blaster that I have used in previous designs of mine. So we got the takedown pin in the back to take out the spring and whatnot. We got a silly pistol grip here. This priming handle, or foregrip, I guess, is derived from a pump action silly pistol prototype that I made. I didn't finish it because, I finished that prototype, but the design didn't work out. Needs some more work. But since the priming handle portion of it worked so well, decided to reuse it in this design. It uses printed priming bars as well, because there weren't any metal ones that were already this size, and I don't want to add customly lengthed priming bars to anyone who is going to be making hardware for this. So it's easier to just print that bit. And these parts are smaller than other parts that you're already printing, so there's no reason not to. And these are printed at 100% infill, 5 walls. It's going to work great, according to previous tests that I've done with the low hardware Talon Claw U and that pump action silly pistol that I talked about. So that works great. There is a version of this blaster with Picatinny rail along the top, which looks excellent. There's also a version without Picatinny rail on the top, with a nice long groove going down the top to better aim it, which is also very good. There are barrels, or barrel inserts, to use single dart shells with a sealed metal barrel, or, one moment, or Mega XL single shots. So you don't even need the magazine for the Mega XL. You just take out the magazine, and then this takes the place of a shell and just seals up against the breech, and then you put a Mega XL dart in the front and shoot it. It's pretty good. The extractor on this blaster right now is just a compliant mechanism. So it's fixed in place in the back, and the plastic just bends to hook around the rim. I'm not expecting that to be very durable, and I'm going to probably replace it. But I'm doing it this way just so I can get a prototype printed and test all the other aspects of the blaster. So that's the extractor. The ejector is this thing right here. Now, the Spring Thunder and the Sobek also use a moving wing, I guess you can call it, a moving thing in the side of the chamber, or the side of the area above the mag wall, whatever you want to call that. It's not the chamber; it's behind the chamber. They both use a little sliding arm thing that kicks the shell out the side a bit. But from all the video that I've seen, that's pretty anemic. So, decided to make mine a lot larger and more powerful. So I'm hoping for these shells to go zinging out the side. Prime it back, and this will flip. I'll show you how far this flips. It's going to flip like that, and just nail that shell right out the side. It's going to be fantastic. Hopefully. Yeah, that's the basic function, I guess. There's a mag release right here. You just, push it down, slide out the magazine. Lots of printed stuff on this. There is one aluminum bar along the top to keep it nice and sturdy along the top. And that also gives me a spot to use the takedown pin to make the spring easily swappable. So as you can see, this entire catch mechanism is squished onto this back plate. So once you remove the back plate, you can just slide all of it out the back. It's excellent. It might hit up against this bit of the grip, but I'll just change that in the next version if it does. There we go. The blaster is very light on hardware. As with most of my other designs, the main stuff that you have is just a crap load of screws. The rest of the stuff is printed. So on this blaster in particular, I shaved down on my normally absolutely astronomical amount of screws. Like the Super Sledge, I think, has like 68 screws, 67 screws. The Silly Pistol, I think, has 30 screws. I think this has 30 screws, not including the magazine. I think the blaster itself has actually a lot less than 30 screws. We could go through and count it, but I'm not going to bore you with that. But you can see there's 4 there, 4 on the other side, 3 at the back, 4 on the grip, 1, 2, 6 on that, 3 on that, and then a few more under here. But screws. I shaved down on the amount of screws on this blaster by using dovetails, which I did on some previous designs, like the slab, the lever action, that uses some dovetails in the mag well to make it assemble nice and sturdily without using too many screws. But yeah, this blaster has some dovetails, so let's show you that. As you can see, once I hide some parts, you can see here that the grip is dovetailed onto this large top piece right here. As you can see, nice long dovetail right there, which keeps that in place. There is a dovetail in the front over here. Over here, as you can see there, dovetail that keeps that priming track, that black priming track, onto the front end. There's dovetail right here that priming track goes into the feed ramp, which is this small piece right there. And then the feed ramp dovetails into the magwell. Dovetails everywhere. It's fantastic. I'm really happy with how this design turned out, both from a mechanical and from an aesthetic perspective. So I'm test printing this right now. hopefully goes well. And I'll probably have a prototype done by next week. Probably maybe Sunday or Monday, which is pretty good. So that's going to be the 12th or the 13th. Not bad. This was pretty quickly developed. I think it's been like a week since I started working on it. I can actually check. Started on so actually started in, what is that, the 28th? Yeah, looks like the 28th is when I actually started it. And I based it on some earlier files of trying to make a modernized version of the FAR, Fast Action Rifle, which is an old PVC homemade from 2005, which apparently has corrupted files. There you go. So this is an old homemade from 2005, which was also a shell-ejecting mag-fed rifle. And it's laid out pretty much the same as my design, but mine is modernized, which is great. So yeah, this is my blaster. Prototype coming soon. Hope you enjoyed this quick little video showing you about it, showing you stuff about it. Yeah, not much I need to talk about. If you have any questions, make sure to leave a comment, and I will respond to you, and hopefully your question will be answered satisfactory. Or answered real good. There we go. I'm a good word user. All right. Yeah. Have a good day, everybody. Bye-bye.